Hello again YouTube and welcome back to Just Get a Tesla, and today I'm driving my brand new Model Y Juniper from here in Northern Aberdeenshire all the way down to the south coast of England in Bournemouth. I did the trip in the previous Model Y and I was surprised at how quick the charging stops were, but this car is even more efficient than that car. What difference is that going to make? And if you've seen my previous video where I was ranting a little bit about how poor autopilot is in the new Juniper because they have in essence set the thing up so that you have to have enhanced autopilot. Well, alrighty, I'm about to go off and do a test and we're doing this for science. So I've purchased enhanced autopilot and we're going to see if that fixes it. You shouldn't have to do that. You shouldn't have to go out there and spend £3,400 to fix Tesla's software issue, but because you've got 48 hours to get a refund, I thought it was worth a try. So I've added it to the car and we're going to see if that makes a difference. 25 miles in, and well, I said on the introduction that this car is more efficient than the old car, and we can see that already. The first stop it's still advising is Larkhall, as it was on the previous trip in the old car. But when I arrived into Larkhall, I was on 11%. This is telling me I'm going to arrive on 25%. Both cars were charged to 100% when I set off. Yeah, so same amount of charge in the car, but last time it burned 89% to get there, and this is only going to burn 75, and I'm doing similar speed, so sticking to traffic, doing 65 to 70 dependent on where we go. Yeah, this is this is going to be interesting. Just how much more efficient is this car? That's the question. How much more efficient is it versus the previous one? From my initial testing, I've said that it is phenomenally efficient versus the previous one, and I don't quite understand what voodoo they have done to make it like that. But we're going to have a live test of this, even if I end up doing the same stopping pattern, and I might not, because I mean 24% at Larkhall, I'm sure I can make Abington without any issues, and that, I expect that it's going to update itself as we go. But can we take an entire charging stop out? Because on the way down previously we stopped at Larkhall, Todd Hills, Preston, Frankley, and then Amesbury. Now I probably could have got away without the Amesbury one if it wasn't for the fact I wanted to put some power into the car for whilst I was down there. I'm doing the same again this time. But if I can remove one of the earlier stops, Amesbury is the only one that I have to do. If I can remove one of the other stops without making the stops longer, then that immediately is a time saving. Let's see how we get on. We're on the A90 just south of Stonehaven, and this is looking impressive. Larkhall arrival state of charge is now suggesting 29%. So remember, I arrived on 11% on the previous car. This is suggesting 29. So never mind having to stop at Larkhall, we can go to Abington. And then if we're going to Abington, we can go to T-Bay. And then from T-Bay, with, you know, probably get some food actually, because T-Bay's good. But from T-Bay, we can then make it down to Frankley. So you're looking at, before we did Larkhall and then Todd Hills and then Preston and then Frankley. I think on this one I can get away with just doing 2 stops instead of 3. So and not longer stops is the point. You could do 2 stops and have your stop for 25 minutes, half an hour. But on the previous trip, from what I remember, having looked back on the video, the stops were 10, 11 minutes and 15 minutes. This is still going to be the same length of stops. It's just going to be less stops because the car is just phenomenally, phenomenally efficient. So I'm also running enhanced autopilot. As you can see, there is going to be a separate video about that and why coming up after this one. So this video is talking about comparing this trip in this new Model Y versus the previous one. If you want all of the fun and games about autopilot and enhanced autopilot, make sure that you've subscribed. That's going to be the next video to drop. Okay, and updates on range and charging stops. So it's now updated to Abington from Larkhall. And I'm going to arrive at Abington on 18%. Remember, Abington is one supercharger further on than Larkhall down the motorway. So we're going further and we're arriving with more energy still in the pack, right? I mean, 18%, it could probably make it to Gretna. We are going to have a look at just how far this one can go. But the whole point of this is we're trying to show that this car is more efficient than the old car, and oh boy, are we seeing that at the moment. The other point here, this is coming up on 4 hours. I love this Twingo that's, or whatever it is, it's just literally blatted its way through, right? That actually should have slowed me down slightly quicker, but never mind. Look, how can I put it? It's going to be almost 4 hours by the time we get to Abington. That's about as far as I want to go without having a break. And I've said this previously, and I don't need to talk about bladder range versus battery range, but this is just I want to break after 3 hours or so, and this is going to be pushing 4 hours. The car can definitely go further than I can. On the M9 north of Stirling, and it's been like this for miles. I don't know whether there's a wide load or something, but I can't actually see far enough ahead to work out what on earth it is, but we're doing a very badly bunched 20 to 30 miles an hour, basically, and no better than that. And because traffic is bunching, it is creating back pressure waves, and there's times where we're practically stopped. So yeah, this is absolutely pants, which is a pity, because we were having a really good run, and obviously we've got some distance to go today, so I really don't need this. But yeah, it's just something has got us all doing 30, and you're not really going past, which is why I'm thinking wide load, because a wide load, basically nothing is getting past it. It feels like that. I thought it might have been a tractor at first when we were on the A9, but we're now on the M9, and yeah. So we did actually stop off camera at Stirling Services, basically because I needed to check an email, and I'd been going for more than 3 hours comfortably at that point. And after a couple of loops around the roundabout, as you have to do to get in and out, and then back out onto the M80 now, and oh look, we're still in it, although to be fair, we're now doing 35-40 rather than 20 to 30, so that's an improvement, isn't it? But observe, supercharger at Gretna is the target, and it's saying 5%, and it's wet. This isn't pretty. I don't know whether that's going to maintain or not. It might be that we need to stop at Abington anyway. But the idea that in mixed traffic, and with respect to it, on and off inclement weather, because it was wet earlier and it was drier a bit and now it's wetter again, the idea that we've got the legs to be able to get all the way down there in real world use is preposterous. I can't for the life of me think that the other car would have got anywhere close to it. Well, it didn't. I mean, a Larkhall felt like a push, and okay, so maybe that was me driving it a little bit harder, I don't know, but you were not going to make it all the way down to somewhere like Gretna without needing to charge, and yet this is actually on, according to this. It might cancel. It might be I have to stop at Abington. We're going to see. This is going to be interesting, but at this rate, it could be like 2 o'clock by the time I get there. And remember, that's Gretna Green on the Scottish-English border, and I'm going to the south coast of England. This could be a long day. Journey update. Well, we are now well south of Glasgow on the 74. we're now not stopping at Abington. So initially it was Larkhall, where we were going to arrive on like 20%. Then it was offering Abington on 20%. I've put in Gretna manually. So at the moment we're going to arrive at Gretna Green services, not the actual town charger, the services charger, on 9%. But it is offering me Todd Hills, which is just across the border into England, where I'd arrive on like 5%. So this car is going to do the impossible, which is it's going to drive from the northeastern corner of Scotland into England without needing a charge, which is bonkers, completely bonkers. So for the moment anyway, we're going to try and make up a bit of time. We have lost an awful lot of time because of that wide load. I mean, a ridiculous amount of time because of that wide load. Our arrival down into Bournemouth at something past 7 is now likely to be something past 9, right? That's how much time we lost. We were doing 10-15 miles an hour for an awfully long time, and all of the alternate routes around it were basically going to take you so far out that by the time you'd done the extra miles, you're only just going to end up back into the queue anyway. The wide load appeared to have come off the M73 somewhere around the M8 junction. It's just disappeared. Anyway, we're now at least going. I'm still blown away by just how little power we're actually burning. 245 watt hours per mile after 210 miles. Now, okay, parts of that were slow, but how else can I put this? If you were doing a steady 10 miles an hour, that's one thing. But you're going stop, start, faster, slower, faster, slower, faster, slower. That burns power because it's constantly changing delta V. It's constantly speeding up and slowing down. It's burning power. That's not great for efficiency either. Again, it's absurd. 20 miles to run now to the stop at Gretna. It's just dropped to 19%. It was on 20 as I started the camera recording again, which again, it's just daft. I've done 240 miles and you might say, well, that's not that far, but look at the conditions. It's absolutely trolleying it down. It's 16 degrees, so it's relatively warmish, but that just makes it humid and moist, and then you've got air resistance to get through because of that. The amount of energy this car isn't burning is just daft compared to the previous one. Also interesting, but only starting to precondition 20 or so miles out is different to the way that the previous car was doing it, where it would start to precondition quite a bit further out. And it's the same LG cells in the battery pack, so there's no difference to the actual battery. It's the same battery. This suggests that it's slightly different management software in terms of how it's managing the battery. So again, it's another difference on the new car versus the old car, but genuinely it would have been preheating much further back than that, and it'll be interesting to see if that makes a difference or not. We're going to arrive on 10%. When I left Stirling, it was saying 5%. So we've actually gained 5%, which is doubling the amount of margin that was available. That's pretty impressive again. I wonder how many more stops we're actually going to need. We're going to stop and eat at Gretna because it's coming up on 1 o'clock and we've been going since 20 past 7 or so, and it's lunchtime. So maybe we'll end up not stopping quite as rapidly here as we could do, but that's okay, because if you're doing something, then it's okay to be stopped a bit longer. But I'll see you in Gretna. It's absolutely rammed in here. Well, this has been fun. We are now food lean. That's as much as you're getting from him. Right, we are still at Gretna. We've just gone in and got some food. So the joys of KFC, which is it's absolutely rammed in there. So I think we've been about 15 minutes or something already just to get in and out, and I'm still going to eat something. So this is where the stop is definitely longer. But then again, last time I had I think 16 plus 11, so what's that, 27 minutes plus something else for the 2 stops. I've only needed 1 stop so far. It's fine. I'm just going to stick as much power in now as I need to whilst eating, and then we'll have a look at how we're doing. But Frankley is, how far away is Frankley? Let me have a look. I've just put the rubbish in the bin. Car's on 79%. We haven't wasted a second on that one, literally. We've gone from 11% to 80%, and the entirety of that time was inside waiting for food and then eating the food, and now we're going. So we are allegedly gonna have to stop at Preston, but according to the miles to go, Preston shouldn't be needed. We should be able to go all the way down to Frankley, which is west of Birmingham. We'll see. So as we're sat here, I just want to give a shout out to Jawa, who are the sponsor of this week's video, and their LED charging hub for the new Model Y, which I've got installed here. This is a really smart bit of design. It clips onto the rails in the center console and gives you back the USB charging holes, which Tesla, in their infinite wisdom, decided to take off this car. And it looks very neat on this lovely new center console. You've got a pair of USB-C holes, a USB-A hole, and you even have this extendable USB-C cable. And this is perfect for me to power my GoPro when I'm out filming video, because as you can see, the cable extends and reaches up to the GoPro, and then when you want to tuck the thing away, simply give it a tug and it disappears back into the center. Get yours now at Jawa. There's a link in the description and you'll get a discount if you use my referral code. Crossing the border into England, finally. It's 1:30 and we set off at 7:20. And okay, we've just had a, 25-minute or so charging stop, but that's not the point. This has been a long trip. So we're now planning, and I like this, I'm now planning to non-stop to Frankley, because I had a longer stop there. And again, I only had a longer stop there because we were eating. But because I had a longer stop there, I've recharged up to 80%. We have got more horrible traffic ahead of us as well as horrible weather. So it's saying -6, but at the same time, if I stay at this speed and lower, then I'll arrive at Frankley, which is Birmingham, with power left in the battery. So that's already telling me that -6 is going to be better. And with respect to it, it's 203 miles and I've got 223 miles of range, and this is pretty accurate. Okay, so we'll make it, is what I'm saying. Unlike on the previous car where it would put that up and then you'd get nowhere near it, I'm pretty confident that this is going to be fine. So, I wish it had stopped raining. That would help. But, yeah. And we're going to get down there for, oh my God, 5:20. This has been a longer trip than I was envisaging. And we're going to get down to, stick cruise on. We're going to get down there for 9:15, and that's bad because it was going to be about 7:15, 7:30, something like that, and it's now saying 9:15. But that is better than it was going to be, where it was offering us 10:30 at one point. So yeah, but we've got 20 minutes of delays coming up ahead. Very nice, by the way. Old Bentley. I'm sure it's doing about 15 miles per gallon, but even so. This is fantastic. In fact, this is fan-dabby-dozy. We are on the M6, just south of Killington Lake, so we're still well inside Cumbria. It's 3:10 in the afternoon. So we've been going for nearly 8 hours and we've only done 319 miles, and we've just started moving again after being stopped there stationary for about 10 minutes. And I put a few clips on, but in essence there's obviously been an accident. A police car went past escorting a recovery truck, so they have just closed the road in front of us for a period of time to recover whoever has crashed. and now we're moving again. I mean, look, I always say I'd rather be in the queue caused by the accident than be in the accident or be the cause of the accident. But even so, this is starting to wear pretty thin. This trip is just going on and on and on and on. We're now predicted to arrive at the supercharger at Frankley at 17:52 and at the hotel 21:41. So 9:41, having left at 7:20. So that would be by the time you faff around and add a bit more, it'll be a 14.5-hour drive on something that should have taken about 11.5 hours. 3 hours extra. And that's assuming that we don't have any other shenanigans, because so far it's just been non-stop nonsense. Penrith. We're really enjoying this trip, I must say. We've had a particularly fabulous slow-speed close-up inspection of various fine parts of our motorway network today. There's either been an accident or there's roadworks. Well, there are definitely roadworks, or roadworks and an accident. Either way, we're just sitting here. But at the moment it's saying we're going to arrive at the Frankley supercharger on Niente. And that's absolutely fine, because by the time we get down here, actually, you know what? This is one where, let me just turn that off a second. As we get closer to it, that's going to be on like 5. It's already added 6% back in because it was -6 and now it's at 0. So we'll definitely be fine for doing that. That will definitely be a shorter stop because we won't need to put a lot in. That just gets us down to the Amesbury one on the 303. Cooler Shaker song, Find Your Way Home, on the A303. We're only going across it. Anyway, charger there, more of a charge there. But we're going to get there eventually. I mean, it's now suggesting we're going to arrive at our hotel for 20 to 10. It's getting later and later and later and later. Good. 20 minutes later. Instead of me dropping it in, I'll just say it. I think this entire queue, and it has literally been actually slightly more than 20 minutes. I think this is the exit queue for junction 40 for everybody who's coming off to head over the A66. And it is as well. Look, it's just the exit queue. The entire thing there is just because everyone's slowed down because, oh my God, that's just, and they're all turning left. That's absolutely crackers. Never mind. And then into the actual roadworks. So there wasn't even a big crash. It was just a ridiculous queue. Something about traffic today that is absolutely potty. I don't know what on earth is going on. We are in Lancashire on the M6 and the sign says accident on slip road, and we've got a big slug of red down to the M58 junction. So back in Cumbria, we queued for 20 minutes on the M6 further back because of a queue on the slip road. And now we're going to queue for another 20 minutes or so. Yep, it's now got to 6:20 at Frankley. Great. We're now going to queue for another 20 minutes because of another queue on another slip road. Neither of these slip roads we've wanted to take. We're trying to go down the main motorway. And it just keeps conspiring against us. I think we're going to get down to Bournemouth at midnight. And that's probably an exaggeration, but it's going to feel like it. This trip, I think, is cursed. It's just getting worse and worse. I mean, I'm still blown away by the efficiency that I'm getting out of the car. So 256 watt hours per mile now on 375 miles, 264 watt hours per mile since we charged up at Gretna, which was 113 miles ago, and we've got 93 miles still to run. We've got bags of juice, and this is the kind of long-leggedness that wasn't really available on the old car, especially when the weather was changeable. Now, okay, it's gone to 24 degrees, but until we broke out of the last long band of rain, and it was really, really heavy, it was quite cool, 16 degrees, 15, something like that, and very heavy torrential rain for long periods. So the weather has been awful and the traffic has been awful. And despite that, this new Model Y is doing almost preposterous efficiency, and I honestly don't get it. This would be at 320 watt-hours per mile on the old car, and it's on 256. What have they done? What have they done? And by the way, what have they done is a valid question for today's trip. I think I've upset the gods of traffic, right? Because today has just been one thing after another, after another, after another. You name it, we're doing it. Yeah. Sit rep are on 20% on the battery, 6% on arrival at Frankley. However, the arrival time at Frankley services is 1 hour 15 later than when we set off at Gretna. It's getting worse and worse and worse. All we've had is hell, frankly, not delays. We've had hell, and it was bad on the way down to Gretna, and now this whole leg has just been even worse. We lost an hour and a half on the way down to Gretna. We've lost an hour and a half further, well, we're about to do on this one, and there's no way around it. We've looked at options, we've even phoned a friend and asked for advice. There's no other way around it. Or maybe come off the motorway and go through a place called Penkridge that everybody else seems to be trying to do. But I mean, it says half an hour delay. That's not half an hour delay. That's half an hour. Sorry, it's not half an hour between the junctions. It's half an hour added to the journey time. So more like 40 minutes. So yeah, we're getting there at late at this point, and I'm just getting utterly fed up, which is a pity because the car is both a delight and a wonder. 258 watt-hours per mile since we set off from Gretna, which was 168 miles ago. 254 watt-hours per mile on the 430 miles that we have run. So I started the very beginning of this video saying let's do this as a comparison of the old car and the new car. Well, from a traffic perspective, today is the apocalypse, and last time it was free-flowing. But last time we stopped at Larkhall for 11 minutes, and it's 5 minutes on and off the road to call that 16. We stopped at Todd Hills for 16 minutes, because I remember these, and that was, say, another 3 or 4, call it 20 minutes. And then we stopped at Preston for, I think, another 11 minutes, plus 5 minutes at least to get on and off. All we've had is a single stop at Gretna for 25 minutes. That's all we've had, and that's all we've needed. The car just keeps going. This new Model Y, from an efficiency perspective, is just crazy. Almost as crazy as the traffic today. So I'll see you in a bit. Finally on the final run-in to the paradise that is Frankley services on the M5. Woo! This leg has been hell. Absolute hell. It's been like 5 hours or something. I'd have to check the exact time. I can't remember what time we left Gretna, but right, this leg's been bonkers. I'll put on the screen how long that it's been. Anyway, finally we're here, and we're even on 8%. When we set off from Gretna, it was on -6%. Actually, let's not indicate quite yet. Let's indicate when we get up to it. It was on -6%. So it's gone from -6 to +8, and that's with horrendous weather, right? Absolutely. Auto lane change unavailable, right? Okay, fine. Horrendous weather and horrendous traffic, and despite that, we've still got here with, frankly, impossible amounts of energy still left in the battery. It has been absolutely crackers, and I'm glad to see there's plenty of spaces at this supercharger, because honestly, I've had enough. So we have to do a bit of a swing, because this is the worst design, honestly, of... Yeah. Oh, it's a bit of a swing. Now then, let us see exactly what we actually get off this. I am quite literally just going to stick it on this one here, because I can't be bothered doing anything else. It'll do. It's a charging bay. We want to make this stop as quick as we can, because, oh dear God, we've been going for a long time. Finish. And you can see the charge rate. It's a bit sunny, I know, but 242, 247. So a peak speed of 247 briefly, and now it's at 242. Right, I'd better go and do the bits I need to do, because this is going to be a short stop I mean, we're going to Amesbury as the next one. So I think we only need to be here for 10 minutes. Right, it has literally, as you've seen, literally just told me to go. We're on 44%. We have been stopped here for, I think, about 12 minutes. And that will arrive on 10%. That is enough, but it's a V4 stall and they're not particularly good, so we're going to do stop and unlock manually, which we shouldn't have to do. Flap closes. And away we go, away we go, away we go, away we go. Right, onward. Here at the Amesbury Supercharger, and I can't quite believe this, but this is only my third stop of the trip, considering the distance that we've actually gone. And here's where it gets really silly, because although I've stopped here and I'm plugged in and I'm supercharging, I didn't actually need to, because as I was plugging in, it said I'd get to the hotel on -1%. Well, if I'd put another 10% in at Frankley, which would have taken, what, another 5 minutes, I don't need to stop here at all, providing that I can charge up at the hotel. And you know what? I could charge up at the hotel, but is this going to cost me 25 quid and this is way cheaper? There is an element here of I'm just going to charge up here instead. And frankly, as we've both just said, we really need to get out of the car and stretch legs, and I'm physically stretching legs while I'm doing this. This has been a long trip. It's been 13 hours since we set off from home, pretty much to the minute. 13 hours, and we've still got just under an hour's worth of driving to go. This has been preposterous. We should have been here at about 6 o'clock, and it's 25 past 8. It's not been a good trip, but I can't think of a better car to do it in than the new Model Y Juniper. It is spectacularly efficient and it's really comfortable, and that's kind of all you really need. So I'm going to have a meander around a little bit and then we'll get back in. This is a really busy site. In fact, there's a lot of cars, more coming in as we go. Really busy. It's also really slow. Charging, it got going really quickly, but it's dropped pretty rapidly. Now, I did get asked in the comments, could I talk about the charging curve on the Juniper, and I will in a future video. Ordinarily, it's really good. I mean, you've seen I've been getting a shift on with regards to charges. This site's just a bit on the slow side, so I'm down to 97 kilowatts on 65%, which is not great. Anyway, pretty much time to go, unplug, get out of here, and then finally down to Bournemouth. So I'll see you on the way into the car park. It's got a hateful car park. Actually, it's not quite as hateful as you might think, but it's a bit twisty tight.
Just not worth that was a bit.
Yeah, we're fine. That's why we've got the front camera. Oh, that front camera makes it so much easier. Sorry, the printer is out of paper, right?
What?
Okay, that's fine. It's just, how am I supposed to get back in again later?
Another ticket.
That could be quite entertaining. The printer is out of paper. How do I get in?
Printer at KFC was also out of paper.
No, but you need a ticket to get in. How do I get in? Oh, hello. It's a bit tight. They're all going to be a bit tight though. Do you want to? Okay, to wrap this video up, and I would say I'm back home now, but I'm not. I'm actually parked at the Tesla Centre in Aberdeen once again, recording more video once again. It's a busy life being a YouTuber. So, the trip down to Bournemouth. The traffic was the worst that I've ever experienced. Just delay after delay after delay after delay. Most of them mindlessly stupid. And I was really comfortable in this car. I was still comfortable and happy when I got there, despite the amount of time that had been spent, 14 and a half hours on the road. And I got out feeling comfortable. And I couldn't really have said that in the previous car. As comfortable as it was, it would have been a bit, And okay, so by the time we got to Amesbury, we definitely both needed a leg stretch and a wander around. But that's it. And the other point as well is, from an efficiency perspective, on the trip, I went from home all the way down to Gretna without charging. And I could have gone to Todd Hills, which is across the border into England, without charging. That is not possible in the previous Model Y all-wheel drive. And then from there, with, okay, admittedly a 32-minute stop, but it was 32-minute stop of queuing for food and then eating food, right? We weren't wasting time. That then meant we could go all the way down to Frankley at Birmingham without a stop. And then the Frankley stop was only 11 minutes. 11 minutes. And at that point, had I stayed there for another 5 minutes, then I would have had enough energy to get me to my destination in Bournemouth. So to go from the far northeast corner of Scotland to the south coast of England with 2 stops is seriously impressive. It was doing 250 watt hours per mile in total on the entirety of that trip, which is 4 miles per kilowatt hour on a motorway for hour after hour after hour, with strong winds in the face and terrible rain causing accidents and lots and lots and lots of stop-start traffic. To get 4 miles per kilowatt hour is preposterous. Genuinely, what a car. Make sure that you like and subscribe, hit the bell icon so that you know when I'm doing more water car videos. We are going to do the trip home on the next video, so make sure that you watch that. Also, a little bit of why I was down in Dorset in the first place. You'll like it. Make sure you come back for that video, and I will see you back here very soon on Just Get a Tesla.